It's been so windy lately, you guys are going to hear a lot of that rattling today. I've had this device in my collection for quite a while and haven't even talked about it. This is one that I very much enjoy, even if you do have to deal with some important flaws. Introducing the Anbernic RG351V. Now, this is cool, but certainly outdated and flawed, so let's dive right in. For more content, do make sure to subscribe to this channel because we upload fairly often and focus on all sorts of tech products. So do make sure to leave us a like and comment any of your thoughts down below while you're at it. It really helps us with the algorithm. And if you want to support us further, then we've actually got a Patreon open which offers early access to content and special insight to projects that I'm always working on in case that is something that interests you. So links to everything down below. The exterior design consists of plastic, even if this looks like it has a wooden finish to it. It looks really nice, but I think that it's just a vinyl skin attached to it. It even feels pretty good. Now this device is fairly large, which should make it pretty comfortable for people with bigger hands, but this might not be the case for everybody just across the board. On the front, you're going to get your usual buttons with a single analog stick that does click down for L3. These feel exactly how they would on any other Anbernic device, and the buttons are very nicely built. They feel really good. On the left, there's going to be an awful volume rocker that doubles as a brightness slider, by the way. On the left, there's going to be a sleep-wake button, a reset button, and two micro SD card slots. And on the bottom, you're going to get two USB-C ports along with one headphone jack. Then on the top, or the back, I should say, you're going to be getting your triggers. Now, your shoulder buttons are extremely clicky, almost sounding like mouse clicks, but I really like them. I really enjoy how they feel. But this would be pretty much everything regarding the overall exterior. So let's talk about the screen. This device features a 3.5-inch 640 by 480 IPS display that does look fair. This is a larger display, so the lower resolution does start to show a little more on this device, but it's not that bad. I would say that the larger display is a pretty good trade-off that I'm happy to make, since most games that you will be playing on this are low-res anyway. The colors aren't super vibrant and they can come across as being a little more muted, and I do wish that we had gotten closer to the quality of their RG351M models, since that device just has an amazing display. And the screen is serviceable, but I think that they could have done better here. The single front firing speaker is fine. I don't really have any complaints about it. It's loud enough for the size and I don't find myself needing more than that, to be honest. Have a listen.
Time, aren't you? What's wrong? Engine trouble?
This device features an RK3326 CPU, a Mali G31 GPU, 2 GB of RAM, an optional 64 GB of storage through the SD card slot, and a 3900 mAh battery. The specs are exactly what you should expect out of an older device like this, or at least one that's rocking older hardware. It seems like Anbernic is looking to move past that stage though, since they are releasing newer models with more power, but this is what we get with this device in particular. Let's get into game performance. This is actually the most disappointing part about this device, and it could just be because of the systems that I tested, but it's also because these are all dependent on RetroArch. At least the systems that I tested were. Beginning with Nintendo 64, Ocarina of Time wasn't that great, but fine, I suppose. There were audio stutters and extreme frame dips during cutscenes, but the gameplay portion was mostly fine, even if the audio defects are definitely still in effect. It's kind of a shame that this is how it performed, because the controls feel so good. Another issue is that even though this device has a Nintendo layout and this is a Nintendo system that I'm emulating, the A and B buttons are swapped, which is a huge head scratcher. I would not recommend this for N64, but it's fine if you happen to want to play the system, I guess, but really get this for other lower-end systems. SNES is a much brighter story with perfect performance in Chrono Trigger. This is the Japanese version of the game, but you can install your own ROMs and get the English version here instead. I enjoy my time playing this game with the system, and the buttons layout has been fixed up to actually match the system itself. So I would absolutely get this for SNES emulation and almost anything before that, as it does run these much older systems very well. PlayStation 1 performance was a very similar story, but not entirely. With something like Final Fantasy Tactics, I had a great time playing it with hardly any issues to speak of, but when it comes to other 3D titles, you might experience some dips here and there. But performance is fairly consistent across this entire device. So if you wanted this to play PlayStation 1 games, then you will have a good experience overall. The buttons have been remapped to match the ones in your device, such as the A button behaving as the X button, even if the positions are swapped. So that's pretty cool. Dreamcast ran exactly as I expected, which is poorly. Sonic Adventure 2 is pretty demanding in the very first section of the game when Sonic is skating down the city. It definitely slows down here, and the audio is choppy as hell. There are even some graphical issues and glitches that make the game difficult to play. There are some sections that run much better, but I wouldn't really take the chance here. I just would not get this for Dreamcast since the RG351V chip is pretty old at this point, and Dreamcast tends to run poorly on RetroArch as well. Lastly, we have PlayStation Portable, or PSP, which is going to be squished because of the 4:3 aspect ratio. So that is going to be expected, but PSP games run okay on the system. I tried Ridge Racer and it ran alright for the most part, but there are some audio glitches and stutters and even lag. It's not the most pleasant experience for more action-based games like this, but it will get the job done if you wanted to play specific PSP games. Now, I wanted to say that I know that the systems I've tested are more challenging to work with, and it might seem unfair for this device, but if you wanted to play GBA, NES, or GB, or any other systems like that, then you're going to have a really good time with this particular device. Like, genuinely, it can definitely be a very pleasant experience. So when it comes to the battery life, we do get pretty good performance. I would say that about 4 hours is accurate depending on what system you're playing, so keep that in mind. Pretty good battery performance overall. So in conclusion, this device is not the best buy that you can make. I personally prefer the Retro Pocket 2 Plus because it's cheaper, performs much better, and has a second analog stick, runs on Android instead of EmuELEC, and even has a touchscreen. So I don't really see the point in buying this device unless you really wanted this form factor. The form factor is really cool, and if you wanted a device or just a better way of playing GB and GBA games with this kind of form factor, then I totally get it. Like, this is really cool. But the outdated hardware makes it hardly worth it if you wanted straight up performance, and this is a problem with most current Anbernic devices. Price to performance is usually lagging behind a bit, so I don't recommend this if you are expecting good performance with the higher end systems. But I would get this if you wanted to play your older games with a specific form factor. And for now, this is going to be the last device with an RK3326 that I review on this channel, but I will look into Anbernic's latest systems for future reviews. So thank you so much for watching this video all the way up until the very end. It is definitely very much appreciated. I am going to be leaving affiliate links down below if you are interested in getting this device in particular, because it is still really cool, quite frankly. So links to that down below. And also, I want to give very special thanks to all of the patrons who are going to be listed right here on screen. Thank you so much for all of your support, because it really does go a very, very long way. So thank you to all of you. And if you are interested in becoming a patron, that is always appreciated. You do get early access to videos. So yeah, by all means, go ahead and jump in if you are interested. Now, with that said, don't forget to follow me on Twitch, where I do stream every now and then, and on Instagram, where I post every now and then. So with that said, this has been Francisco from Tech Summit. Thank you for watching, and until next time, enjoy.